I got the engine and transmission in the truck today. New clutch assembly, pilot bearing, throwhead bearing, the whole works. Flywheel surfaced. I think I stated in one of my previous videos, I went through the transmission, all new gasket seals, no parts were replaced, just all the gaskets and seals were replaced. I put the transfer case torque mount in just here a little bit ago with new bushings and all that stuff. All new bushings under the transmission here. Last Saturday I ran, the engine shop back the road, ran this engine on his dyno, and it runs great. It made about 330 horsepower and about 340 foot-pounds of torque. We ran it up to 5,250 RPM. Now, that's not a very realistic RPM for a truck with, I'm going to have for sure 35-inch tires. I don't know if I have 37s, for sure 35s, 6-inch suspension lift, 4-speed manual. This is not going to be, a race trucker by any means. It's going to be slow and probably in everybody's way, but I don't care. That's how I'm building it. It's just going to be a slow, fun old truck. I've been waiting for this day for months to put this transmission engine in. And like I said, last Saturday we ran it on the dyno, the engine, and I got the clutch ordered, and it come in Thursday. I got home from work last evening, painted the bell housing. I did not paint the transmission until it was in the truck. The bell housing was previously painted though. And that's because I didn't have any way to really paint it with it being elevated. And my floor has a lot of dirt and so on. I didn't want to paint it on the floor. I used the engine hoist, cherry picker, whatever you want to call it. It set the engine in and kind of supported it. And at that point, I put the clutch on, torqued it down, did all that. And then I ran this strap through the rafters of the garage here with a shackle, a clevis here. And right there is a chain hoist. And so I drug the transmission across the floor here, pulled it in underneath the truck here, and then I bolted that chain hoist to the transmission with a short chain here. And I come along it up with the chain come along and got it slid in place. And then I painted the transmission after it was in place. I'm going to go over it a little bit more with some paint, touch up a little more. It's still kind of dry and you can see it's kind of wet in places. But yeah, it's in. It is in. I need to find another bolt for here. Apparently when I used to drive this truck, that bolt fell out. So I only have one on the other side here. I have a bolt there, but not a bolt here. So that's no big deal. I can get one. And I got the torque mount, transfer case torque mount all bolted in with new bushings as well. So yeah, today was kind of a big day. It was a fun day. A big step in moving forward with this project. Next Saturday, I'm taking the cab to his shop that's going to help me do the repairs on the cab. I know that's been kind of getting pushed off, but next Saturday they want it now. And him and his dad's been doing metal fabrication for a long time. His dad said it'll be no problem. We'll get the cab fixed up, do some repairs, like around the channels here. Some of these window channels need some repairs. There's a few bad spots. It's not weak or nothing, it's just rusted through there, but it's solid. And one of my other videos I mentioned about the cab lights, the 5 mounts are going to get installed as well. And the new piece that goes in above the windshield there, it's kind of rusty where it meets the window. There's going to be a new piece put in there. A little bit of work done to the floor, a few minor details. Put the rocker panels on, the outer rockers. And then they're going to paint the cab orange and white, just like it is. And a couple weeks, maybe a month, after it's painted, it'll dry for, probably a week in their booth or whatever. And we're going to bring it over here, push this outside, set the cab on, and push it back in here. And I keep working on this truck over the winter. At that point, I'll probably move on with the front axle here. The ends here need painted, but I got to rebuild all this. Ball joints, brakes, calipers, inner axle, shaft U-joints, that all needs replaced. On either side. So that'll probably be kind of my next phase as far as what I'm going to move on to once the cab comes back. I might even start with that before the cab comes back, but that'll be my next focus. And then back here for the rear brakes, I've been eyeing up lug nut 4x4. I'm wanting to put a disc brake conversion kit. I'm wanting to do away with the drums here. So this whole drum set stuff is going to get chucked. And I'm going to put rear disc brakes on here. So I'm kind of thinking maybe Black Friday sales, see what deals they got going on their rear disc conversion brake kits. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, end of November, beginning of December, see what kind of deals they got. And then that'll be my next thing to move on to after I get the front axle done. Yeah, I get the cab on this winter, or here another 3 weeks, month, whatever. Get the cab sitting on here. Then I can start I got all new controls for in the cab, heater controls for your vents, defrost, floor, all that stuff. I can start running the wires, the new wire kit inside the cab. Put the wiper motor up in where it belongs for the windshield wipers. Now this truck isn't really something I'm going to drive in the winter time, so I'm not really looking to drive it and need windshield wipers or a heater. But I just want all the stuff to work. It will not have air conditioning. The cab is not an air conditioning cab. I don't care. The truck didn't have air conditioning when I drove it. To me, a truck like this doesn't even need AC. You got your windows down, your wing windows open, and down at the kick panel by your feet, there's a little vent you pull open. And I'm going to put a rear sliding window in. And I want to have a fun truck. If I want to go down the road in air conditioning, I can drive my Duramax or something else. But I want this just to be a fun, local, run around fun truck. But yeah, it ran great in the dyno. Nothing was changed from when I used to drive it. It's the same engine, nothing's different. It just looks different. There was no additional work done to the motor or nothing, which I kind of figured it was maybe 300 horsepower, and it's a little bit over, so I wasn't really surprised there. But the timing's good. We put another cap on, new plugs, wires. The set of plugs I had on here were from 20 years ago. I bought them at AutoZone, and we took them back like 3 weeks ago. They were under warranty, a lifetime warranty, and AutoZone gave me a new set of plug wires. From the last set I bought was 20 years ago. I got a new set. I don't think this alternator works. It was just here to keep the belt tight, to run it on the dyno. It'll either get rebuilt or maybe just a whole new one. My starter needs rebuilt. We used my starter to start it on the dyno. But there's a crack here. And the starter been sitting for 20 years and it started the engine, but it needs rebuilt, so it'll get rebuilt and put back in the truck. But that's where it's at. Thanks for watching.